container that you can actually do the mixing in. You're not going to want to mix right in the can. So I'll be using the Inktech gloss vinyl, both reducer and ink, in this video. So the reducer, I have the slow thinner right now, and I've actually moved it into this smaller bottle just for easier use. So I have a small amount left over from the last batch, so I'm just going to start in with this on the scale and zero that out. I'm going to take my regular and add it in. Now it's recommended to reduce it about 5 to 10%. You can do the math yourself, and long of a dry time once you do print the stock. Solvent inks are an air dry ink, so you're going to want to be sure to cap everything off once you're done. Now you're going to want to give everything a mix before you actually go into mixing it as well on the scale. So an interesting feature about solvent inks is that this is apparently a really dark red, but it's actually a translucent color, so when you print it on like a white stock, it shows through as a very vibrant red, which is an interesting characteristic and allows for some unique printing functionality. So you can cap your can off, you won't be using this again. So the scale reads 3.2, we're going to add in probably about 0.1 ounces of reducer. Getting a little messy on the side. And we're just going to stir this together. And you'll see it's a really clear liquid, and it quickly just molds into that, but you want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed and you have a consistency in there. So there you have it. Now we're going to get to printing. So I've taped off my alignment marks, and I'll do a separate video on how to set that up specifically, but for this I just have a rectangular sheet of vinyl, and I'll just be using some regular spray adhesive as well. So make sure it's all set up. Use your registration marks as you wish. Now it's time to load the ink. Just like any other ink with screen printing, you're going to feed it on the top or the bottom depending on how you're printing. Now I don't like to have a ton on my screen at one time. It goes a pretty long way, and I like to keep it, as waste resistant as possible. I'll be using a 70 durometer squeegee, pretty straightforward. It's nice for the high mesh screen, and I forgot to mention earlier, this is a 230 mesh. So standard flood, and then I like to push coat, and I'll do a second one just to clear it as it is the first print. Make sure to reflood your screen, and I'm using hinges here, so I'm going to have to take my squeegee off in between runs, but if you're using a standard press, you should be alright. So like I mentioned before, on the white stock,